There's several different categories of expenses that have to be considered when crafting your parenting plan, and specifically the financial part of your parenting plan for your kids. When people think about divorce, the term that, and the financial responsibilities, the term that often is the most recognizable is this term called child support. The purpose of this video is to define exactly what base child support means and how the courts and why the courts use that. So the concept of base child support is that the children have these basic needs, and these needs are food and shelter and clothing. The state says that you're going to use a calculation to determine that, where each of you plug in your income, and if you're not employed, or if you're not employed full-time, the income is based on what your ability to earn is. Now, that concept itself is one that creates a lot of confusion and oftentimes a lot of contention. Understanding what your ability to earn is very important, because there are a lot of situations where being able to determine what your ability to earn is not as simple as we think. The cases where it is simple is when somebody is employed full-time in a job that is maximizing what their ability is. So if you have a check stub or you have a tax return, you can simply look at that and say, if you're working 40 hours a week and you're in a job that you were trained to do, and you believe that you're earning the amount of money that you should be earning, well, then that is a good representation of what your ability to earn is. But what if you are in a job that has a lot of peaks and valleys? For instance, what if you're a real estate agent? Well, I did child support calculations for real estate agents in 2007, and real estate agents would, during 2007, say that they were making $200,000. In 2008, those same real estate agents were calling me up and saying, I'm now only making $30,000 or unemployed, because we know what happened in the market in 2008 when the housing crashed. So that ability to earn sometimes can be affected by situations and circumstances that are out of our control. If you are a skilled welder and you make $100 an hour, and you burn your hands really bad and it makes it to where you can't weld, even though the week before you can show a paycheck that shows that you were a skilled welder, well, now you've had an injury and it makes it to where you can't. And we need to look at those kinds of situations when determining ability to earn, and a mediator will help you figure that out if there are job situations where there are peaks and valleys. The other thing that you need to consider when determining ability to earn is whether or not you are underemployed. If you are a doctor and you make $500,000 a year, and you then decide that you just don't like being a doctor, and instead you want to be the fry guy at McDonald's, and that's been your secret dream all along. If you're calculating child support and you decide to make that career move at that time, it may cause some problems, because the courts say that you must calculate it based on your ability, and if you don't like the job that you had an ability to earn at, the courts are going to gravitate towards causing you to impute your income based on your ability to earn, even if you're not earning that amount. So in the case of the doctor, in that example, the courts can't force him to be a doctor. What they can say is, you'll be calculating your child support based on the $500 income, or the $500,000 income, not the $32,000 a year income that you have now. And it's sad that you have made a bad career choice, and that we feel badly for you, but not that much. Judges are not empathetic to people that they feel are voluntarily, purposefully underemploying themselves with the idea that it's going to lower their child support obligation. Now, in mediation, we're trying to keep you away from judges. We're trying to keep you away from that world. However, we have to make sure that you're informed about what the court standard is on ability to earn. Another thing that needs to be noted on the base child support calculation when calculating the ability to earn, what about the example of a stay-at-home mom who's stayed at home her entire career, her entire life, and she's raised children, and 20 years later, her and her husband decide to divorce, and she doesn't have an education, she doesn't have any work experience, and so what is her ability to earn? Well, that subject can be debated, and many couples will spend tens of thousands of dollars having employment evaluations done to determine those things, and it shouldn't be that difficult. If you have whatever your aptitude or experience level is, for certain you can at least make minimum wage, and that's where the courts normally start for somebody that has no experience or education. And then it goes up from there. And that doesn't mean to any mothers that are watching this that you're being forced to go get a job working 40 hours a week. It's saying that for the purpose of calculating base child support, the courts are going to require an imputed amount of a full-time job, at least at minimum wage. Now, if either party has a disability, if there is any situation where you are actually truly limited, then that of course affects your ability to earn. And in those situations, you probably have a disability rating from the government. Maybe you're receiving some disability benefits of some sort. All of that can be factored in to calculating the child support as well. So the base calculation factors in how many children you have. It factors in your ability to earn, regardless if you're actually earning that amount or not. And then it also will take into account some things like if you have children from a prior relationship, there's certain offsets that can be made there. If later on you get remarried and have a child with your new spouse, that can affect that calculation. It can be a little bit of a tricky calculation. An experienced divorce mediator can guide you through that calculation very easily, but it's important to note that the base child support covers really only food, shelter, and clothing, and that there's a worksheet that, depending on the state that you live in, that will be prepared, and every state has a little different wording for it, but they're all pretty close to what I just explained.